Hell, will be taking it. Got the pack, take the pack. What I usually tell the yeah. Hell, will be taking it. Got the pack, take the pack. What I
Yo, check it, huh? Tenfold hat tight, check the stands. Got that reptilian resistance dance. They say the earth flat, a piece of pie. I just want my cut before I die. Mic check, 1, 2, truth, serum flow, word. Ricky on the line, gotta know. Conspiracy lunch, that's the spot. Deep state secrets, keep it hot. Gravy on the side, Illuminati fries. Conspiracy lunch, open your eyes. Flora in the water, got us tame. Chemtrails in the sky ain't the same. Now they watching all of us. Lizard overlords plus GMO corn, mind control. No. Conspiracy lunch, that's the spot. Deep state secrets, keep it hot. Gravy on the side, Illuminati fries. Conspiracy lunch, open your eyes.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
Here we go. All right, a little technical difficulties and everything else, but here we go on calling it Conspiracy Dinner with Shane the Cosmonaut. He come back to come talk some more lucid dreaming and whatever else we who knows how this path, this conversation will go just like last time. So it's gonna be fun. Appreciate you coming back, Shane.
Appreciate the invite, and hopefully it'll be fun.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. We got Sweets and Herschel in the chat, so they're hanging out with us. So it's gonna be good. For sure. I know we. I lost Shane. Holy shit. These rush together last minute things. Sometimes it's just like, hey, hey, we're gonna go. Want to go live? Yeah, let's go live. I don't care. Hopefully he'll come back on because we want to talk lucid dreaming and maybe some hemisync and stuff like that. Just I know I've done a little bit of it, but nothing like what Shane has done. He has done some in-depth research on it, so looking forward to hearing what he has to say. Hopefully he'll be back in just a second. But hope everybody's doing well today, and we got 5 on the Rumble list watching. Appreciate y'all. If we didn't have technical difficulties, who knows what it'll be. I was sending the wrong link earlier. Yeah. I guess while I'm waiting on him, let's see. I'll share some fun random stuff here that I didn't show last night. Now the New York Post is saying the Manhattan-sized interstellar object 3I Atlas could release many probes that hit Earth. So there we go. Now we got little We got little calls and little. Make sure he didn't call. Trying to get back on. Now we got to worry about that. Brother Dave's Waffle House is in the house. Last minute Thursday night, just having fun. Oh, here he is. Here we go.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This happened.
It happened last time, and then I think it did once, and then we were good after that. But so
It's
hopefully,
probably because of my phone. So I don't know.
It's crazy.
So start over, or is it still going? I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's still we're still live. It's live in living color. I just showed a post
But
about the New York Post showed talking about that the 3-eye atlas, interstellar object could release many probes that hit the Earth now. So it's been nuclear powered. It's amazing all the kinds of stuff that they think that thing is. It's probably just a big rock.
Have you heard of the channel Edge of Wonder?
No, I haven't.
They one of the hosts, he has another channel called Metaphysical, and he's got a pretty well known remote viewer on it named John Pravanko. And while you first messaged me about doing this live chat tonight, I was actually, because they just dropped a video about the 3-eye atlas and about the guy remote viewing, and I was like 15 minutes into it. So I'm really interested to see what it is all about, because I mean, they have that astronomer saying it could be a spaceship, like what you were just saying. So I don't know. This is like, I think, the third interstellar thing. I don't know what you really want to call it. That's come close to our vicinity. So the last one, I think, was in 2019. I don't remember the name of it. And then the Moa. So it should be interesting. When are they saying it should be passing by Earth?
I think December. I think the last I saw was December. It's supposed to be coming by maybe. Once it comes around the sun, they're not sure which direction it's going to go. So, one is the biggest issue because
See what
they're telling us. But I've heard I watched Metaphysical. I listen to them. I hadn't seen the other one, but I do listen to Metaphysical sometimes. I watch it on YouTube and on Spotify sometimes and listen to them. I used to do it more when I was working at the asphalt company, because sometimes I get in the loader and drive around. So I just put podcasts on the radio and just all day long be random information getting fed into my brain. But yeah, I haven't heard of Metaphysical though. It's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, that one does like a lot of like remote viewing. But the other host, Rob Counts, he started with Edge of Wonder, and the other host on that one, his name is Ben Chastain, I want to say. And yeah, that's like their main platform is the Edge of Wonder, and then you can like totally plugging it for them too. So I should get a little kickback.
For sure.
But yeah, they do some real good stuff, breakdowns, and especially of like the UFO paranormal woo woo stuff. But yeah, you want to talk about some lucid dreaming tonight? People seem to like the dreaming stuff.
Yeah, for sure. like we talked about last time. I've like I said, I've done a little bit of the hemi sync and um wi- with and I finally did with headphones. It's just hard to sleep with them. I like to go like actually go to sleep and then like in the process it just boom. But having the big headphones on the side of my head just it's not comfortable. The sleep, stay asleep. Um but I have done it with. I wonder. I guess you're supposed to have it for one for each year. I was just like, I wonder if it would do it with my surround sound. What would do? What would Hemi Sync do through my surround sound? Would that or that would just drive me crazy? I don't know.
From what I've researched, and especially with Robert Monroe with the HemiSync, because to me it's a technology that it's designed to be through headphones because it um sends a certain hurt through one ear and then a completely different hurt through the second ear, which then goes into obviously your brain and then your brain interprets those two different hurts into one, which is supposed to be whatever your goal hurt is. Like if you want to do like meditation, a lot of times it'll the two hertz will combine to equal like a theta hurt, so you can get like deeply relaxed. And from what I've researched is that if you do like a surround sound or not headphones, that it just you'll end up getting both hurts in both ears and it won't work at all or as it's supposed to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know this coming off the TV. I had like pretty vivid dreams that each time I did it, but it wasn't as powerful as, of course, when I had them headphones on. It really uh, magnified like the it seemed like, but I've only done it once with my headphones and stuff, and so it might need to do it again to see if I can get a couple like times doing it, make sure what my how my body feels and stuff like that. But I do um, I do like listen to the hurt stuff, like like YouTube has channels. It's just for sleep. It's got the certain tones and then they'll have rain in the background, something like that. And I listen to that to help me relax sometimes. Just sometimes brains is going 100 miles an hour. I need something, just to tone it down a little bit and calm it down. But
Oh, a good mixture when if you're gonna try doing the hemi sync or binaural beats is do some type of meditating or get like a mantra, like a saying that you can just repeat while listening to uh, the binaural beats or the hemi sync, because that will help you calm down and try to focus your thoughts. I mean, there's a lot of people think when you meditate, you're supposed to clear your mind, which is nearly impossible to like not have any thoughts. But what you do is if you get those random thoughts in your mind, you just kind of let them flow through like water and not worry about, like I don't know if you've ever meditated and like you're like, oh, this is going good, but like you're doing your mantra or whatever your meditation, and then all of a sudden you get a random thought of like, you know, what am I going to eat tonight, or like random thought of the day, and then you focus on that. You kind of let those random thoughts not focus on them and just let them fly by. But yeah, pairing the hemisync or binaural beats with a meditation is very helpful. And then I know you said that you don't like sleeping with the big over the ear headphones. Most people that I know are like side sleepers. Um, maybe try sleeping on your back, maybe a little elevated as well, because the point of it is you want to try to maintain consciousness as much as you can until you fall asleep, unless you can consciously induce like a lucid dream going from awake into the dream realm, which is pretty tough to do. But yeah, there's also techniques you can use, like the well-known ones are the mild technique, the mnemonic induction of lucid dreaming, and then there's the wild technique, wake-induced lucid dreaming. And for beginners like yourself, the mild mnemonic induction of lucid dreaming might be more beneficial for you. And I can explain what that technique entails if you are interested.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate it because yeah, I'm curious on it. Because I have some thoughts on it, but it is kind of a um because my mind does does that. It'll sit there and I could be focusing on one thing, listening to whatever, and all of a sudden truly you be squirrel, or something pop in my brain, just random stuff, I got to do this tomorrow, I got to do that, and it breaks that concentration, and it's so hard for um my mind to slow down to a point where I can focus on one thing. It really is really difficult. Like um, I'm moving around no matter what. Like if I'm on a phone call conversation, I'm walking around. Or lately, I've been sometimes I'll go outside, and if I'm having a conversation, I'll get on my rake and rake leaves while I'm on the phone talking, um, just to multitask. Or I just feel like it's what I got to do. It's can't just sit there for whatever reason. It's kind of got to a point a little worse since I um, quit my full time job, my job I had before, and working at the asphalt plant, and now uh, now I have more free time, and I have more, just with the gym, and it so it it makes me kind of thing. But yeah, I would be greatly interested in how to, you know, anything to help me rest and get a good rest and being able to dream better, I would think.
Well, like just to go with what you said, is that's real typical with like this society is a go 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 society. But yeah, and it's hard to get your brain to slow down, for you to slow down, because I mean, as little kids, we're always told, you got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, got to keep busy. But to me, the cornerstone of a good um, dream practice is meditating. Like that's to me is number one. And I mean, it's as easy as just taking a couple minutes out of your day, find a quiet spot outside in the house somewhere where you have no distractions. And I mean, you can start with just a couple minutes, put on, you can, uh, some type of hemisync or binaural beat, and just kind of slow your mind down. What I did when I first started was the counting. I started counting backwards from 10, and surprisingly, at first it was tough. Like get down to like 8, and then like a random thought pops in, and then I'll get pissed at myself. I'm like, I'm only like 2 numbers down. Like what the hell's going on? But again, you don't get mad at yourself. You just It's training. It's just like you definitely know about training from your wrestling and the MMA that you talk about. Your brain is the same thing. It's a muscle. You got to train it. And if you've never done it before, it's going going to do what it normally does. It's like have those random thoughts. But that's one thing I would highly suggest if you are not getting good rest or want to start on a lucid dreaming journey. Is first thing is to start meditating, and then the better you get at it, maybe 5 minutes start off with, and then the more you do it, the better you get at it. Um, add more time to it, and then and so to have a good sleep hygiene too. I would meditate right before I go to bed. I don't know if you've attempted to do a strict meditation practice, but it'll help with daily life, even with a lot of your stress too. It just helps you clear your mind. It's kind of like maybe like I would say equivalent to jumping into a cold plunge. Kind of a reset of your whole body, and not quite the same, but equivalent. But
Yeah.
have you attempted to do a like I I guess a strict and a daily meditation practice? Have you attempted that, or is it one of those that New Year's resolutions where you say it and you don't do it?
um, I think about it. It's one of them things like I don't do like a resolution or anything like that. It's just it'd be it'd be good if I try to do this. I can feel myself like getting just full of crud, and and then sometimes I'm like I gotta get away, so I'll go like walk by a lake, or I'll go down by the Mississippi River and just walk um and take in that nature and kind of hit that relaxation there. But I've never been able to, it's hard for me to set schedules on anything in my life, like um just um just other than gym, because I got to be there. It's like one of the things I got to be there. But anything else, like is, well, I don't really got to do this right now. I could do it later, and then you push it back, and um,
Procrastination.
I'm the king of it. I come from a long line of procrastinators. I really do. Uh, I wore a funny story. I wore a shirt. What was it? Oh, what did it say? Doggone! It was a procrastinating shirt, little T-shirt, whatever. With something funny on it. Um, but I wore it to one of my friend's wedding. Um, and it was a joke. It's kind of like an inside joke because I hadn't got married, so it was like one of them funny things. To me, it was like procrastinating with the wedding, and then here I am with the shirt, and um, but yeah, I do. I'm really bad about it until I just get fed up, and I'm like, all right, I got to do this, and then I'll get up, and then and get out of my way because I'm going full blast. I'm going 100 and getting stuff done that I should have got done before, but. Um,
You just Yeah, it just takes practice. I'm not, don't take me asking you as like a bad thing or anything. I mean, a lot of people in today, it just want to do something and just don't do it. But it,
mhm.
it is very beneficial to you. I mean, like I said, it'll help you not just with sleep, but like your just day to day living. So if you want to uh, start with to do lucid dreaming, another thing is in the community of lucid dreaming is that is a must as well is dream journaling. Um, it's self-explanatory. Is you want to record the dreams that you remember of that previous night, and the best time to record, either pen and pencil or even just what I do is the like an audio recorder. with my phone. Because if I attempted to write I probably could. It would be bad. Like, but it's literally when you wake up, you just write or record what you remember of your dream. You want to record, like, I mean, literally while you like wake up. A lot of people like to, if they're going to use a pen and paper, or because there's apps you can do on your phone. You can have it just ready next to your bed, like on your nightstand. Some people put the, under their pillow or whatever, but it's literally within seconds of you waking up, because that's the best time you remember that your dream. And you want to record even like the smallest detail, or something like something that maybe you remember a color or a certain object. You want to write it down. And the reason why you want to do it right as you wake up is because you're still groggy. You're coming out of your dream state. You're coming out of the delta brainwave right into the theta, where you're groggy still, and you record immediately when you wake up, is because it helps train your brain to kick on your critical thinking skills, which is beneficial for you to have while you're dreaming, so you can lucid dream. So again, you're training yourself while you're in either a mixture of the delta and theta, or just the theta brainwave. You're kicking on your critical thinking skill by recording your dreams. It will help you later on kick on that critical thinking while you're in the actual, like, deep in the dream state. And surprisingly, like, at first, don't expect you will be able to remember a whole lot of your dream. But the more you record right after you wake up, like a couple days later, a couple weeks, you'll eventually start remembering a lot of your dreams. And the more you can stay in that mixture of brain state of the delta, theta, and while you have your critical thinking, is a better chance for it to kick on while you're just deep into REM sleep dreaming. Um, so yeah, so you got to be strict about dream journaling. Uh, I know it's another like chore, like a homework thing people think of it like, but it's to get to that goal to become aware or lucid, which is, once you get to that point of getting lucid in a dream and being able to manifest what you think, uh, then you're like, oh, this is totally worth it. So I don't know if that makes. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could see that. And I've heard people say that before. Writing down, and I'm terrible. Another one of my things I'm terrible doing. I had a journal for like gym for a little bit, and then I gave it to one of the guys at the gym. Like, here, you can have it. It had like I wrote like three times or something like that. And I was supposed to write the lesson, what we went over, so I could go back and kind of help me, you know, hey, we touch base here on this, this part, and we can come back, or, where do I need to add there, kind of deal. It was the concept was good, but you know, me actually implying it in my life, I did it for a little bit, and then poof, I was done. And I gave it away. I was like, here, and he keep coming there with a book with all kinds of stuff where he wrote down like all kinds of stuff from his old gym. And I'm like, here, you can have mine. I was like, this is a cool little binder that says that jujitsu on the top and all that. And I was like, this is cool. He's like, oh, I love that thing. I appreciate you. And I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm not going to use it. I thought I would, and I tried, and I didn't try very hard, I guess,
It
but,
it's
but it,
tough. I mean, it's tough to start doing something out of the abnormal of your daily uh, routine. Now, something that I actually, I'll be honest, I was never good at continuously, like strictly every day recording and talking to my phone. But what I would do a lot of the times is actually just recite what I remember of my dream to myself. Because surprisingly, just saying it, and instead of just saying it out loud or in your mind, instead of just letting like that kind of memory of that dream come and flow and fade away, just actually thinking about it. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure why it works as well as it does, but just even reciting in your mind right after you wake up is another helpful way of starting to remember your dreams better. So maybe that's something you can attempt instead of just writing it down or finding an app and talking to your phone. Just maybe start off at first reciting it when you wake up, or like wake up and you have to go to the bathroom or whatever, and just oh, that's what I did. I saw a pink elephant flying around or whatever whatever you saw. So
Mhm.
you can attempt that instead of, like I said, actually recording it.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and that's, I mean, actually, it's not a bad idea. Actually, when I get up, I just had like, just got like notes on the phone, just sit there and, hit record on that and record it real quick. And it only take a second. Um, I'm gonna try to do that more because because some of them was like, man, I wish I could remember that. Like some of them it was so so vivid, and it was like, man. But then there's some that to this day I still remember. Like, well, I don't remember most of it. I remember like the one that is really, I think we talked about it last time. It really freaked me out is when I in my dream I laid down. I was like, all right, I gotta get me some rest. And as soon as I lay down, my eyes closed, and in my dream I woke up here. Um, and and I wish I'd remember like what was going on before that, like what was I doing and what and all that kind of crazy stuff. Um, but that one there for sure was one of the ones that I wish I'd wrote down more and thought about it. But at the very ending, just it stuck with me because it was just I never, in my 46 years, I never had that happen before of me, literally as soon as I'm like, man, I gotta get told somebody there, hey, I gotta get some rest. I'll see you a little bit, and then I closed my eyes, and as soon as I did, I woke up where I was, and I'm like, what in the world? And maybe made me wonder. I mean, am I in the dream world here, and that's the real world, or is this what's going on here? It was just wild. It really was.
Uh, It is. I mean, that's what the big, to me, is the big draw of dreaming is what is it exactly? Like the ancient uh monks, the Tibetan Buddhist uh monks, they called it, they didn't, because lucid dreaming is a modern term that came about in like the like 1979, 1980 by Stephen LaBerge, which he he did studies to scientifically prove lucid dreaming is real and a phenomenon. By actually, he was part of his own study, but he would, with other people that claim they were lucid dreamers, that they said a how do I'm trying to find the right wording, but they would agree upon certain eye movement when the dreamer became lucid in their dreams. So because you get in rapid eye REM sleep, rapid eye movement, and your eyes will just randomly go left, right, up and down, twitch. But to prove the lucid dreaming was scientifically real, they agreed upon to, with the dreamers, the lucid dreamers, like when they became lucid, they would look left, right, up, down, left, like a certain pattern, and that proved that their eye movement was intentional, that they agreed upon before they fell asleep, which showed that they were conscious. Because, like I said, when you are not lucid while dreaming, your rapid eye movement is just random. Like, and if you can do a pattern that is agreed upon by two people, and they recorded the eye movement. So, but like I was saying, the ancient Tibetan Buddhist monks, they called it dream yoga, which was it's the same thing as lucid dreaming, but they took it more of a spiritual uh, direction to it, and actually to prepare you for death and in that realm. So I think they were onto something, because that's what I feel the dream realm is to prepare us for the next realm. Like you said, like you asked yourself, what realm was I in? Like, I fell asleep here, but then I woke up there, or I fell asleep there and woke up here. Like, what's going on? So I thought that was quite interesting. Now, another thing with pairing with meditation and dream journaling, like I said, for beginners, is the mnemonic induction to lucid dreaming. And mnemonic is literally something that you repeat, like a phrase you repeat to yourself. And that this technique is paired with another technique called wake back to bed, which is what it sounds like, is you wake up and then you go back to bed. But with that technique is, when you wake up, you allow yourself to sleep for 4 to 6 hours, because about that time is when you get it, because you do cycles of sleep, and after about 4 to 6 hours, um, a normal person will start entering the REM sleep. So you'll start getting into your dreams. But if you can wake yourself up right before or right in the middle of a dream, and then what you do is, like I said, after 4 to 6 hours, and they say you want to keep your mind kind of busy for 15 minutes to 45 minutes after waking up, that what you can do is lay in your bed, and this is where the mild technique, mnemonic induction of lucid dreaming, comes in, is that you want, it's kind of like, I mean, some people will disagree, but it's kind of like dream incubation, where you think about either the dream you were just in, or a dream that you would like to have, and you think about that dream, like where you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to see, experience, etc. and and then you think, like, you can either think about a certain dream sign, which is something that you notice in your dream that can trigger your awareness. It can be anything. The more abnormal, the better. So, like a pink elephant, or a flying pig, or something bananas, that nothing that would not happen in reality.
Mhm.
So you're in bed thinking of the dream, or the dream you want to have, until you fall asleep, or like you can do a mantra kind of thing, like, next time I fall asleep, I'm going to become lucid, and you repeat that until you fall asleep. And most likely, you're not gonna become lucid like the first time you try it. It's like, again, I'll go back to, like, it's working out. You're not gonna see results after one. Like, when you first initially start working out, you're gonna be sore, but you're not gonna see like major results. But I hope that makes sense for you and anyone else that wants to attempt to start out with lucid dreaming.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense. And, yeah, with having dreams, um, I'd be interested to try that out. Try to make it kind of manipulate the dream. Sometimes I can tell that I'm in a dream world. Other times it's just wild. It was like uh, it makes me wonder. What where I'm really at because sometimes it'd be like, man, it'd be everybody, my family will be there, my parents, my grandfather will be back alive, and just but everybody be the same person, but it'll be like a different house or different area. But like, everybody's like, like, hey, we're gonna go to your parents' house. Like, okay, take me to my parents' house, and we go show up at this house, and it's not the house they have now that I know of. And but and it's my parents that I know, the same people, same faces, everything. And like my grandfather's still alive sometimes, and it's just like uh, a wild, like in my and it makes me wonder, like sometimes with the lucid dreaming and that deep. I mean, are we, connecting to something, even more powerful, like a parallel, like um, multiverse type thing, where we're actually, it's coming close and during that time and it's bleeding over so we can see. Um, I don't know. It's the curiosity and dreams, but that's a good idea though to try to do experiments and see if you can have and then make sure, of course, make sure write down whatever the uh, the data on them when I wake up for sure, so I can kind of
No.
track it.
Ooh, I have a question. When you see your grandfather, what is he? Does he look like what he did when he was older, or like a younger version of himself, or or is that if that does that make sense? Like, wh- is he like what does he look like to you?
He seems like like right before like he looks like right before he got real the before he had his stroke and everything got real down um before he got real down that last little bit because he was taking care of my grandma, and then she was having lots of health issues, and then she passed away, and then it wasn't long after that he passed away, but he had a stroke. And but like right before all that, like when he was still like very vibrant,
Like healthy looking?
and yeah, kind of healthy looking, but he was still, he was still older, um, still probably in his 70s or something like that. He could tell. Like my grandfather, uh, had a lot of Native American in him because he had until his second open heart surgery, he never did get even gray hair. He had long black. He had black, slick hair. I don't say long, but he had full slick black hair. The whole all the way up until um, shit. I think is till he had an open heart surgery. He had a quadruple bypass, and then a month later he had an aneurysm. And
Some
they
serious
told him,
stuff.
yeah, and they told him like, it's and the doctor even said like, hey, this is, um, you know, told my mom and my grandma was like, really that wasn't really me there in there. I don't know what to tell you what happened there, but there was somebody else's hands guiding my hands and doing this. And he got back to healthy and went back to work, working on 18 wheelers, and then he retired and he went set up at flea markets around the country and was driving around and doing that for a while. And like I said, he was always strong and everything. Till that last moment. And like I said, he got really weak, the drain of my grandma passing. And then he had that stroke, and it was just his mind was, it was gone. But it was a while because he was in his mind. He was ready to go. He was singing hymnals um, and talking about seeing his mom and angels and all kinds of stuff. So and maybe he did. I don't know if it was the stroke or he really did see all that. I don't know, but it was wild. But when I do see him, when I have seen him, it's been a while. But when I do see him, it is like when he's old. It is an older version of him, and it's not like he's back in his 30s or 40s and like that. Um, but it's wild. He's getting around good or whatever, and then finally in my head, like, wait a minute, I must be dreaming because I know, he's not here anymore. And right after that, that's usually about the time I wake up or realize it. And then it rocks me, it shocks me to awake. But
So you actually think that, like, oh wait, he's this is a dream, like he died. You actually
mhm,
have that type of thought process in your dream.
yes.
So see that's seeing your grandfather or like the house or someone like that, when you have that thought process in your dream, that's the moment where your critical thinking has turned on. You that's when you have gained awareness or lucidity. And a lot of times people your emotions will kick you out of it, like wake you up, because it's something that many people don't experience. Like becoming conscious while you're dreaming. Now, if you kind of like calm yourself down, and there's some tricks you can do to stay in the dream when you have gain awareness, because once you can have what they call dream awareness, where like what you were just saying, like you're there and you can see your surroundings, like, wait, this is not right, like, such and such is passed on, or this house looks weird, like it looks kind of familiar. And that's considered dream awareness, where you're just aware of the dream. You're still lucid, but then you can actually change that dream. That's where dream control comes in. And it's as easy as thinking to yourself while you're in that state, literally, like that. The only and best way I can describe it is you just think of what you want to see, experience, etc., to yourself. And a lot of times your subconscious will manifest it, and that's where things get exciting. So if you're already able to become aware because you see somebody, you're already at the top of that hill of gaining lucidity. Now you just I don't know, have you been able to control your dream? Like, I want to fly, and then you start flying, or uh anything you thought of, and then it happened, and you can recall it. Have you been able to do that?
Um, you crazy cats are running, they getting runsies. Um, no, I haven't. I haven't done that. I have like gone. I'll say this, and I'll ask a question. Kind of, it's not a question from the chat, but it's a question for me to ask you. I don't know. I'll say this second, but I have been woke up and realized I'm in a dream, and then I turn around and go, huh, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go back, and then I close my eyes, and I can go pop right back into there and go right back where I was, and um, I have done that, but I've never manipulated the situation where, like, yeah, I'm like, hey, I'm in a dream. It loses once I realize that, hey, I'm something's wrong. I'm not where, where I think I am. Then something happens, where, and then I wake up, that's Lucy one that it about that time that I'm waking up and everything. Um, I seen Tate in the chat say it said this, and I was going to ask you, see if you heard this. It is said that Juan's not supposed to be able to read words in a dream, but he Tate says seems to be able to, and Conspiracy Queen says same as Tate. So, have you heard that where you're not able to read words in a dream?
I Yes, I've heard that, and Also, there's a don't look in a mirror. Something bad might happen, or turn on a light switch. But the reading, um, in your dream, one thing you guys gotta realize is that a lot of your dreams and your subconscious when you're dreaming works off your expectations. So there's a lot of fear, like posts and videos about like what I just said, looking in a mirror, or there's the videos about if you read something, you won't be able to see it clearly in your dream, or it'll be jumbled. Because when I see writing, I can actually it actually spells out things like correctly. But the hard thing is remembering what it says. But my guess is what's happening with a lot of people is that, like I said, the expectation, because you just read it, right? Like, or you saw a video about reading something in your dream and it'll be blurry, spelt backwards, or look funny as well. You're expecting it to do that. Like once you become lucid and you're like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, r- look at this watch, or at this text, and in the back, even it's in the back of your mind, back of your subconscious, that you you might believe that if I look at this text, that it's gonna look weird or not be able to read it. So you those videos I would stay away from, because again, like I said, your dreams can go off your expectations. So if you expect to not be able to read the text, or if you look in a mirror and you see like and because they say if you look in a mirror, your reflection, you're gonna see something horrifying or weird. Well, if you believe that, you're gonna expect that to happen. But again, this where the dream control falls into is you can have the text spelled out right if you expect it to be spelled out right or look correct. I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, that's interesting. I
So
remember I've seen I don't remember what it said now. It's been many years and stuff like that. Just kind of rolling through the Rolodex in my brain. Um, I remember seeing like newspapers and stuff and trying to figure out. I mean, and thinking back, I remember trying to figure out like what is the day? What is because there's something there was something wrong. I knew there was some kind of something didn't seem right, and so I'm like, what is the day? What is the day? And I remember trying to look it up and look at a paper and see what it was, and like when I got to the paper, I remember seeing it, and then and right afterwards, it was like it was another time. It was like it's like I guess once I realized that um, I'm not in the real world. I guess I'm in the dream world. That it then I then it wakes me up every time. Once I actually understand that I'm not that I'm in a dream. That every time I wake up and go look around and go, what was that? But I have looked at newspapers and stuff. I remember before and I was able to read them, but I don't remember what they said or anything like that. But I have been able to do that. But I didn't know that. I didn't know not to look in the mirrors um, and read stuff. I never heard that before, so that's interesting.
yeah, to me, like if you find those videos where people talking about bad things, like I said, it's your expectation. So what you want to happen, even if it's in your subconscious, buried down, it's going to manifest. So in a mirror, like I've looked into many mirrors while I became lucid, and I've had weird things pop in, like a distorted reflection of myself. I remember one time it was pretty funny. I looked in a mirror and I saw myself, and I was doing the inching closer back, like looking at myself, like is that real? Or, and then I remember I was like, I wonder what I would look like if I was like a bodybuilder. And then all of a sudden, like my body morphed into like this huge body buff guy. I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then I was like, oh, can I grow taller? Because I'm short. I'm 5'5" in real life. So and all of a sudden, like I felt like I was like 8 feet tall. And then I was like, can I change my skin color? And then I went through like various colors, like green, blue, made myself a black guy. Like it's just I thought about it, and yeah, and the reflection is crazy because you can see what's happening,
Hmm.
like right then. But yeah, don't believe those fear. I call them they're like fear porn, you know, like, to scare people. Just I mean, they can be fun to watch, like those videos on YouTube about, don't look in a mirror or whatever, but you control, and your subconscious controls what happens in the dream realm. So uh yeah, could you clarify what you were asking about popping, like turning around and be like, huh, I'm in a dream, and then like the question you were asking before this one.
Um, how's uh, shoot, my brain. I know I was kind of asked, like, I know I have. I've turned around and I've popped out of a dream and looked around and realized that, okay, I'm here, and then closed my eyes and went right back into the dream. I've done that before and went back where, traveling around doing what the hell I was doing. I don't remember. I seen some of the chat talk about they were working in their dreams, and I've done that before, especially working long hours. When I was a teenager and stuff. I worked at Kroger, and I remember I was late for work, but I was in my dream. I was at work stocking the shelves, and then I got woken up and like, hey, you're late for work. And then I got up. I'm like, man, I've been at work. What the, it was one of them wild, like, everything was like, it looked just like I was
Okay.
at work. I've done that before. And I was like, holy hell, what am I? And I mean, my brain was, I'll
That
never forget
that's
that. That
actually
freaked me out because
that's
and
a
then go ahead.
no, no, finish.
I was gonna say, yeah. Then I just jumped in my car and did like 120 miles an hour to get to work real quick, because I was so late. I was a couple hours late, and I'm like, what in the hell? Like, I've been at work. Like, it was so real. It was so, like, I was there. I was doing everything I was supposed to do. I was going around ordering new stuff, putting stuff up, whatever, and it was like,
You thought you were really like you were there doing your job,
yeah, yeah, everything
and
looked the
then and
same.
then and then you woke up. You're like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? Like, you like woke up. Yeah, that's called a false awakening, where and I've had those too, because they can be quite jarring, like you think you woke up, took a shower, ate, went to work, or whatever you had to do that day, and it was so vivid, so real, like you could you feel what you would feel in real life, like the box you're touching, or the water hitting your skin, the wind hitting your skin, or going through like your hair, or stepping outside and it's like hotter. You feel all that. But then all of a
Hmm.
sudden you wake up and you're in your bed. And yeah, that's called the false awakening. And a lot of times people have them when they're actually in nightmares, where they think the nightmare is real, and there's something uh, a nightmare, and then they wake up and it's like, oh my god, that's thank god that's not real. But yeah, that false awakenings are very jarring, because you like you were saying, you thought you were working and
Hmm.
everything was normal. You're just doing your normal stuff, but then all of a sudden you're like back in your bed and you're actually awake. So yeah, that's called a false awakening.
Yeah, I remember my mom woke me up and like I guess the phone rang or whatever. Of course, the house phone, whatever, rang, and they're like, "Where's Ricky at?" And he's like, "He's not there." And mom come in there and found me, and like, "Wake up, you're late for work." And I shot straight up in the air. And of course, I'm like, "What?" And just, I didn't know it had a name though. That's pretty neat. I never knew that. Um,
You're
I'm
like,
sure a
I
lot of
already
stuff.
was at work. What are you
I've been at
talking
work.
about?
Yeah, I've been at work for the last couple hours. And of course, I was a couple hours late. Like it, I completely dreamed. I got in my car and drove to work, and I got to work and started doing my work, and everything was the same. But um, just one of them things that hadn't happened in a long time. But I have dreamed like work stuff like that, but like being late for work and stuff like that. I haven't done that in forever. But um, I did dream.
Well,
I went to work. I went to did some part time work at it, and went in there and punched in and got mad and left. I just left myself on the clock. I don't know, but then I woke up. I was like, "What in the world? What the hell did I go back to work for them? What the heck?" But
well, they
um,
say dreams are a reflection of what you're going through, like your life, day to day, like to help you solve things throughout your day to day living, things you're stressed out about that your subconscious kind of makes it into a dream, or something that you may be able to understand for yourself. Because I mean, I get emails all the time with people asking if I can interpret dreams, like tell them what their dreams about. And I mean, I thought, my personal opinion, it's kind of like a someone who claims they can interpret other people's dreams. I don't believe personally that they're capable of doing it, because our subconscious is different. Everyone's subconscious is personalized, and one thing, like for example, like maybe water to me can mean like a pleasant, like I've always had pleasant experiences with water or being on water. But on the other hand, there could have been someone that, water to them is terrifying. Like they might have almost drowned, or they have a fear of drowning. So to me, is you can't just say water means one thing. And that's what a lot of people, when they try to interpret dreams, because they have like a like books out there that tell you like what each thing you dream, or like a symbol in your dream, or like if you see a book or a clock or water, like they have meanings. And to me, it's just kind of bogus. That's someone's opinion. And to me, like I was saying, is our subconscious is personalized, and it makes our dreams personalized to ourselves. So interpreting or asking what dreams may be is is a farce. Like, I don't know why I went on that tangent, but but that's another thing that I think, like, I hear all the time or asked a lot. So sorry if anybody wants an interpretation, 'cause here's not gonna happen.
I understand. No, you're good. You're good. Dawn actually asked in the chat, have you ever had a problem that you figured out while in a dream? She said losing how to fix items for her. Um, but have you ever had that where you were having a problem in your real world, and you turn around and had a dream, and it enlightened you how to take care,
I've
guess
done,
alleviate the situation?
yeah, I've not for like work stuff or like something that's broken, but I've had it where I've manifested, because I was fighting. There was one I was fighting with my mom years ago, a few years ago, and I didn't know how to resolve this fight or what to say, because what we said during the fight. on both ends. Like there's things that shouldn't have been said, and I just didn't know how to correct that situation. But in my so I told myself next time I become lucid, I want to try and figure out a solution on my end, how I can approach my mom with the correct wording to resolve this issue. And I've done that. And I've actually asked my dad because I I've been talking to him past couple years about lucid dreaming because he's real scientific and all that, and he builds he works at Raytheon, and he's electrical engineer, and he's got a very unique mind. Uh, he's got an IQ of like 153 or something crazy like that. And so I've actually asked him, um, has he ever lucid dream? And he's like, well, I don't know. And then I brought this exact situation up. It's like, well, have you ever had a problem at work, like where you couldn't figure out something, and then in your dream, you thought about it? He's like, oh yeah, I do that all the time. Like if I get stuck on a certain issue on one of the ballistic missiles or some data that they can't figure out, that he will dream about it and then briefly become lucid, and then the answer comes to him. And that's happened, like if you look at like through history, like a lot of the great inventors, like um space in like Einstein or Tesla, or they would go into like a dream state and either solve or like their problems, like with the equations, or like with Tesla would go into a dream state and figure out inventions to the point where he could take it apart by like bolt by bolt, and then remember it, and then wake up and then actually do it in the real world. And that's one of the things that I've actually learned in the past couple of years about lucid dreaming, is that not just like the solving like work problems, but it helps with like PTSD, night terrors, nightmares. It, I've actually read that like LeBron James would practice shooting in his lucid dreams, and now I don't know if that has helped him in real life, but I'm a believer in that, because I mean, you like I said, you can do anything in a lucid dream. Like say you're a MMA fighter, and I've even heard MMA fighter fighters' testimonies talk about like a certain kick that they were having trouble with, like during normal practice, and they have the ability to lucid dream, and then they practice it in their lucid dream, and then they start like the next time they try it, it's as if they've I want to say, I think it's impossible to master something, um but to get good at it. And like um what's his name, the writer, the famous horror writer,
Stephen King.
yeah, Stephen King. He says a lot of his books that he's written as is due to him lucid dreaming and coming up with like the plot and the characters, or if he's got like the writer's block, he'll lucid dream and on block and give him ideas. So I've done it a little bit, but there's a huge community out there that it spans from, personal problems to helping, like I said, with PTSD, or even people that are like athletes to um, practice moves, or stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean that's I've I've heard of that, and Stephen King. I heard it a long time ago, and I was like, man, for him to come up with the stories he does, man, he must have some hellacious dreams. Um, the
Well, I think it was
or
a mix of
nightmares.
lucid dreaming. I think it was a mix of lucid dreaming, nightmares, and cocaine. Because he admitted he was heavily cocaine user.
Yeah,
It's a
it
hell
was
of a drug.
it is a hell of a drug. Yeah, that one I don't doubt one bit. But I've heard of that before though. People using that and uh, bringing ideas, using their dreams. But it's amazing how much um, the power of it, which you can you can control it and you can turn around. It'd be interesting to see. I know I've never done the like fix something, um, but that'd be kind of cool. You actually able to maybe if you got to that mindset that you could actually repetition stuff in your sleep and come back and and like you said, you're not mastered it, but you're a lot better off, because hey, I got this. I would drill this, 1,000 times in my mind, in my uh, in my lucid dream, and then after that, it's you know you fix that block. I talk about like with like on the martial arts side, like in life too. Now you hit plateaus and you'll hit that block and you hit that it's like that ceiling, but it's not really a ceiling, and finally you'll bust through and then you're another point of your ability and your technique and able to do stuff and and I'm now I wonder if that some of it is that where people were actually uh, using dreams or actually using lucid dreaming to drill points so that to help them get past them uh, you know writer's block or um, hitting that wall where they think they're stuck and then they finally break through. I wonder it's maybe that's what helps people break through that wall.
I think it does, and like there's been a big push for people that are disabled to learn to lucid dream. Because say if you're paralyzed or quadric or paraplegic, in your dreams you can walk again, and if you become lucid, you still have your five senses, so you can still hear, feel, touch, see, all of that. And there's a big push where they there's a group of people that I've come across that are trying to get even people in the hospital to learn to lucid dream because it can help heal. Like it supposedly can help heal your body. There's testimony that not just out like external but internal issues that it can help fix. There's testimonies where people have claims where they've done something or they've met a being in their dream and asked them, can you help with my arthritis or this tumor or something, or like I have this, nagging cough or whatever, and they wake up and like the tumor might be smaller or the cough is gone. Or if or like I was saying, like if you're a paraplegic or quadriplegic, like if you be the capability of becoming lucid and have dream control, you can walk and you can have the feeling of walking again. Or in my case, is seeing. In my dreams, I still dream. Like I used to dream when I had eyesight, and it's still like vivid dreaming, like in vivid color, vivid pictures, sharp detail. But in my normal day to day living, like I don't see crap. Like I just see some shadows and some light if I'm lucky. And that's one of my dream symbols, which helps me become lucid. Is when I realize, like, I fall asleep and I'm like, oh crap, I can see that clearly, and like that thought right there triggers me to gain lucidity just like that. And I've gotten to the point where now uh it happens almost every night, and so there's times where I like to just have non-lucid dreams where I let my subconscious kind of control and let it do fantastical or crazy stuff, because it's interesting to me. Like it blows my mind that what our dream realm is. Like is it our subconscious that's manifesting what we're experiencing, or like you were saying, are we going to a different realm? Which I want to fall into that category, that we are leaving our physical experience and we are entering the non-physical experience, and that's, you can call it a different dimension, a different realm, whatever you want to call it. But I highly believe that, because of what I've experienced with talking with past loved ones, seeing weird stuff. I've even seen myself sleeping in my own bed, like, if that makes sense. Like, I'll be above myself, and that falls into like astral projection. And we can get into that if you want, but I think that it mirrors lucid dreaming, but it's more of a. I feel like you're more conscious, and it's more vivid, and more of a spiritual experience, and then instead of lucid dreaming.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I know I forgot one in the chat was actually said brought up that I think um about I think it was Dawn said something about, let's see, do. It was about you know, and maybe possibly like like I was talking about earlier, being seeing stuff, uh, maybe possibly that that I wonder. Well, let me ask you this: I mean, if I'll stop rambling or just mumbling, how how do you tell if it's in between? Are you in a lucid dream, or are you actually astral projecting? Um, how can you tell the difference, especially if you've never
For
had it
I
happen?
will, I'll say, um, it's to me, and this is personally my experience. It's ever done known something. How am I gonna explain this? It's kind of like something like you just know, if that makes sense. Like you just know it. Uh, but for me, there's a big difference between a lucid dream and astral projection. One is the astral projection is I'm setting my intention to do so. Like, I'll be in a lucid dream and I'll set my intention to lucid dream, and I'll tell myself, like, I want to, astral project, or like one of the things that I like to say is lucidity now. And I've trained for like to know for myself, if I say that mantra, lucidity now, a few times, what happens now, what happens to me is I'll get the because a lot of my lucid dreams are equivalent to, I would say, and I feel like from people explaining it to their dreams as well, is like a very good virtual reality, or even like augmented reality. where you can kind of still tell like what you're seeing is not real. Maybe a little like you get that not what is it that there's that saying non valley. I can't even think of the name, but it's I'm spacing on that term, but it's something that looks real to you, but it's not quite real, and you get like that weird feeling like I think this is kind of like fake.
Mm-hmm.
But with astral projection, um, non-Cali, I can't even think of the name. Anyways, but with astral projection, so like let me finish with the lucid dreaming. It's kind of like I get that feeling, the look of things that aren't quite real. Like they might be like CGI or kind of cartoonish, but very, very realistic. But when I'm with the intention or when I believe I've been out of the body, I see as I would have seen it through my actual physical eyes. Everything is super realistic, super like there's not that feeling of like, oh, this is kind of it looks real but not really, like there's something off about it. Um and then I get this like bluish, grayish filter when I'm looking through like at things. It's like as if I'm looking through a very clear blue slash gray filter at things where it makes it look crystal clear, like the super clear. And like if I look at a building, it looks like a legit real building if I'm astral projecting. But if I look at that same building, if I'm lucid dreaming, it's um it's gonna look a little off to me. Not quite real. Um like I don't know if you've ever seen virtual reality or like an augmented reality. I don't know if you experienced that, but you can tell. But that's how I can tell between the two and the emotions I feel. To me, the emotions are a little dulled, like when I'm lucid dreaming, and then when I'm astral projecting, the my emotions are heightened, are super vigilant. Like I had this one lucid dream. I made a video about it, and I wanted to manifest an orange soda because, like I said, you have all your senses while you're lucid dreaming, and you can even eat and taste things, which is fascinating. And so I remember when I first read that, like learned about you can eat and drink and enjoy food while lucid dreaming. So I was like, I want to, because I like orange soda, and I was like, I want to manifest an orange soda. And so I remember I consciously induced this lucid dream, and as I'm switching from being awake into a lucid dream, I remember telling myself that I want to drink an orange soda, and that's why I just kept telling myself that. And then I found myself in an empty kitchen, like a kitchen I've never been in before. And then there was a wooden table in the middle of this kitchen. There was nothing on it. And then I remember walking up to the table, thinking to myself like walking up to the table, and I find myself walking up to the table. And then as I got to the table, I told myself, um, I want to drink an orange soda. And then all of a sudden, this tall glass of orange soda appeared, just poop, popped up on the table. And I remember reaching my hand out, and I remember that when I gripped the soda, I could feel the condensation. I can feel the coldness of the soda. And then when I picked it up, I could feel the heaviness of the glass and the soda. And I remember thinking, I was like, oh, I don't want to drop this, so I tightened my grip, and then I took a drink, like did the motion and thought about taking a drink. And when I did that, I felt the soda hit my my mouth and my tongue. I felt the carbonation, hit my tongue and go down my throat. And then I could taste the orange soda. It tasted like the best orange soda I've ever had, cold, crisp. But the issue was it only lasted for like a second, and like it stopped. Like the the taste of it just went away, and the condensation and the feeling of the glass just kind of went away. And I remember getting pissed. I was like, "This is stupid," and so I threw the glass, and it broke. And then I woke up. I
That's
said some
funny.
cuss words, but I haven't. But yeah, that was one of my lucid dreams that I like. I knew wasn't a astral projection, but something that because the kitchen and the glass, it looked kind of cartoonish to me, But again, the amazing thing about lucid dreaming is you can actually change the environment. Like I've had like crazy lucid dreams where the world I was in and me myself, I was like did you ever play the video game Metal what is it? Not Twisted Metal, like on the PlayStation or
Oh yeah.
PlayStation 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like I was in that world and everything looked like that. And like I remember like controlling this like big dragster, this funny car, and I was pressing buttons as if I was pressing the buttons on like a Xbox 360 controller, and each button would do something different. Like there was the acceleration button, the turbo button, the brake button, and I was literally playing like a Twisted Metal video game, and it looked like the video game, like in my dream, like super
Wow.
cartoonish, super. Yeah, again, it was so that was one of the dreams that really hooked me to wondering like what is this, like we're able to experience like a cartoon realm or a realistic realm or non-physical realm, and you have all the senses that you would have in the physical realm. And that's why I'm on the I'm so interested in it, but it's so puzzling in like what are we experiencing it, like I said, is it our subconscious that's um, making us experience it, or are we going to another reality? Like, did I experience like a cartoon reality at that time? Like it makes me, it confuses me, but fills me with wonder of like what the dream realm really is.
I bet. Was the word you're looking for earlier was deja vu?
No,
The conspiracy queen put deja vu on there, and then Dawn said you
it's
could
like
you sh-
something not something, uh, valley. Like I can't think of it.
hmm. And Dawn said you should practice that, Shane, so that you can play with the flavors. You can have your
Oh yeah, like I've eaten
but
steak
crazy.
in my dream.
I I was sitting there thinking about it while you were talking about it. It was like what made me kind of uncanny valley.
Yeah, uncanny valley. That's it. It's where something looks
Almost
realistic or
right.
like human like, almost right, but not quite. And that's how my dreams are. There's a lot of people that I talk to that agree with that. Like, but with the astral projection, it's more. It's you don't get that feeling. It's, it's something that
Hmm.
you have to experience. But I cut you off. You said you were thinking of something when I was.
I was sitting there thinking about it, and you were talking about it in your like you just said, you've eaten steak, it had the orange soda and everything, and it just I don't know, just the popped in my head was like in the Matrix where they were tied into the system, whatever, and that's whatever, um, and when they were booted into the computer world, whatever, they could, when they were actually able to, when they eat something, I mean, even the guy that betrayed him, he was sitting there like, man, I know this steak isn't real, but it tasted so good, and it was, I don't know, it just popped in my head and think about it, like, that's kind of like the Matrix world of, that you can actually, that you're actually tasting these things and you're actually feeling, how they're supposed to feel and, with temperature and everything. It's, pretty neat to hear.
Yeah, you can feel pain. I remember there was uh I I was on this two-story building, and I wanted to get out of this building because I was feeling super claustrophobic. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I could punch this glass because I was looking out a window. I could punch this window, but shit's gonna hurt. And then I thought to myself, was like, wait, I'm dreaming right now, like, so it won't hurt. So I punched the glass. I didn't feel the pain because I told myself not to, but I felt the pressure of breaking the glass. So you can turn on and off your senses, um, which is absolutely fascinating. And yeah, I that's one thing that always makes me think, like, that that pulls me onto the side of, like, the Elon Musk of thinking of we're in a simulation because of the dream realm, because of that, like. And I remember that scene in the Matrix where they're in the restaurant and they're talking, the bad guy or whatever, and they're talking about the steak, and they did like a little close up of like someone eating a steak. I remember that, and now I don't know if the dream realm is the simulation or if the what we're experiencing right this second is the simulation. And I don't know how to answer that, but it's fascinating to think about, like, what it is, and why we dream too, like I said earlier, the ancients believed it was to get in touch with the spirit realm or our higher self, and like the Buddhist Tibetan Buddhist monks even believed it was to prepare us for death, to prepare us to experience and transition when we, leave our physical body forever. And because I feel that's what it is. I think it, because I mean, we spend about one third of our life sleeping, and then of that one third of of that time, we spend 6 years actually dreaming, and that's a long time. Like, taking 6 years out of your life to dream. Like, it has to be important. Well, that's my train of thought. Like, we wouldn't spend that much time on something if it wasn't uh super important. And yes, sleeping and dreaming, it helps us heal our body and our physical body, but I feel it's way more than that. And that everyone does it too, so I think that has a meaning behind it. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean it really does. Leo made asked a question: does it make you believe life is already predestined? Um, I don't know. It makes me, like I said, with some of, for my personal experiences, like with, with, and especially that one recently, like this year with me going to sleep and me waking up, and here, like, like which one's real? It's, um, you know, are we in a simulation? I don't know. I, I'm kind of leaning towards, you know, multiverse, like with, like the Marvel movies, whatever, you got different timelines or with different, you're doing the same one, or like that movie, that Jet Li movie, The One. Um,
I
I don't
never
know if
saw that,
he's,
unfortunately.
um, he, he is, it's a multiverse, it's a multiverse theme, um, but he's one of his version of him is evil, and he figured it out like that if he goes back and he goes back into different uh, multiverses and kills himself, then he gets stronger. So he goes down where he actually goes through and actually kills all of them except for the last one, and they battle whatever, um, uh, and so it was, you know, and it's, it's always kind of made me think, especially with the dreaming and stuff, like, or maybe that's what it is. It's like when we go to sleep, we're able to tap in and see, it's like, kind of like, people on the other side of the world, when we go to sleep, they're getting up, and it's kind of like maybe the same thing where maybe we're able to tap into that when we're going to sleep. That's when they're getting up, or we're just eventually we're able to just to see what they got going on. That hey, this at this time this time you wake up, you're in a dream state and you're following this version that, you know, all your family, all your grandparents still alive, or and then you follow this one that, none of them are. It's and you could the potentials there that you could see just different that you live at different places and that you live at had different um because I and to add to it, kind of like makes me wonder because of I think there's we have certain points in our life where it's a choosing point. Like if we go one way or another, it's a choosing point. So we go left or right, and it will forecast the rest of our life, kind of deal. Um,
Like the
you know,
butterfly effect. Is that what you're kind of leaning towards?
yeah. Like so, if I I remember um, for example, like for me when I was a kid, we were stationed on Guam. My dad was Navy and everything, and he was deciding he was gonna get out. He's like, once my brother was born, he was like, I don't want to miss everything like I did with Ricky. I don't want that to happen again. So he's like, I'm gonna get out of Navy, and then we're like, well, we like it here. We're gonna stay, and we were going to stay on Guam until my great aunt got really sick, and we came back to help take care of her. Um, my mom came back, and dad, they come back to to help them help my grandparents take care of my great aunt. And so if that situation right there hadn't happened and we stayed on Guam, my whole life would be a totally, I wouldn't have met none of the people I met. I never would have, so it was one of them points of, in my life, like, hey, if is, you have little small things happen, but then there's big things in your life, if we stayed there, you know, I don't know where I'd be right now. I'd be on a tropical island in the middle of the Pacific and probably living a pretty good life, maybe, but
You might be a celebrity.
yeah, maybe so. I mean, I don't know, but we came back here, and if and I think there's lots of points, and I wonder be, because of my dreams and stuff, and I really don't. It's like one of these. This is one of them things, like where do you talk about this kind of stuff? These like theories and ideas and stuff, and like. And I'm glad for the Troubled Minds, family that we're able to get together and even on my podcast to come up on and ask these questions and stuff. Is like I wonder if that's sometimes what we're seeing in our dreams is the other realities of what could have happened if we done this. If we turned around and didn't we stayed over there, um, then I wouldn't, then I could see that part of the timeline is going this way. It's kind of like on the Marvel movies where they picked out the time, the stones and stuff. Like, all right, if you pull this one out here, it goes this way. So okay, this one goes this way. I wonder if that's what we're seeing in that. I don't know. It's just random thoughts that go through my head. I know, and curiosities, because I do believe that we have those turning points in our life. Like, okay, if I do this, um, like for me, truly, I just had one when I sold my house. Like, okay, this is a big turning point in my life. Like, okay, I'm not here. I'm gonna be over here. This is totally gonna be different. I'm gonna be doing totally different. I'm still in the same area, but um, it's gonna make a big change in my life. So, uh, and I kind of feel like it's one of my turning points in my life. If I stayed at the house, maybe this would have happened. And if I stayed here, I don't know. Now that I'm here, it is what it is. But I wonder if that's what we can see, when we get in that lucid state of, when you see our family members that's passed or whatever in this time. I wonder if that's what,
Well, what
what we're seeing.
I I don't know the answer to that, but
Oh,
but
I didn't think you do, but it's just like one of them things, like, who else do we tell? It's
but
like,
I know exactly what you're talking about, and what kind of another fascinating thing you can do when you gain lucidity is you can actually ask your subconscious those questions. You can, like, say if you want to sell your house, right? Or you're on the verge of selling your house, but you're on the you're in between, like, maybe I shouldn't or maybe I should. You can actually help answer that question by, gaining lucidity and then asking your subconscious that exact question. Should I, or something along the lines like, what would happen if I sold my house? Now, I wouldn't take it verbatim of what your subconscious will show you, but I think your subconscious has a lot of, has the best insight for you, and it will manifest that insight to you in a way that you will understand. So you can ask your subconscious those type of questions, or ask it, like in your case, Ricky. What might have happened if we stayed on Guam? Can you show me something that would be different or could be different? And in your subconscious could manifest something that's profound to you, but it will manifest something that's for you. Sometimes it's hard to interpret what it means, but yeah, amazingly you can do that. And then kind of going back on, like, what the dream realm is. Another fascinating thing is many people, myself included, experience time differently in the dream. Well, when we're dreaming and even lucid dreaming. I'll give you one of my really short lucid dreams that really proved the time I experience in my physical body is completely different while I'm lucid dreaming. Um, I was listening to a binaural beat on my over the head headphones, and I ended up falling asleep. And got woken up because it was wireless headphones, and I didn't have them plugged in, and I got the warning uh signal for a low battery, and that woke me up, that beep beep. And so I woke up and I was like, I was like, I just want to go back to sleep because I was super exhausted. And so I went to take the headphones off because I was just going to take them off and lay them next to me on my bed. And I thought I did. I literally felt my hand and arm go up to my ear, grab one of the earmuffs or whatever, had one of the headphones, pull it, and then take it away from my head and drop it. And then all of a sudden, I see myself in, like, this army bunker, and I'm laying in bed, but I'm in a bunk bed and I'm looking around. I could see other bunk beds and just other random soldiers laying in their bunk beds. And so I just kind of went with with my first thought to explore this environment I was in. So I remember taking the blanket off, walking around, and exploring this room, which then I walked through the doorway. Then, for some reason, I got transported into like an ordinary household, like through like I would call it a portal, 'cause some people call doorways or even mirrors portals. Like you can walk through like into a mirror and can find yourself in a different uh, realm or different place. The same with the doorway, and that's what happened. And then all of a sudden, I'm standing on top of these wooden stairs, looking down, and then uh, I couldn't hear anything. But well, I'll take that back. Every time I took a step, because I went to walk down the stairs, so every time I took a step down the stairs, I heard the creak and I could feel the give on the stairs. And then when I got to the bottom of the stairs, I remember this illumination that started happening above me. So I remember looking up and seeing this old, like 1800s chandelier that were full of candles. And then all of a sudden it started raining hot wax on me. I could feel like the hot wax hit my skin. And then I remember like freaking out. I was like, what? Like this shit hurts. And so a door appeared, like a front door. I opened it, walked out, and then I find myself in an ordinary like cookie cutter neighborhood. Like of all the like, houses were the same looking, front yards were basically the same. And then all of a sudden, I remember telling myself, you know what? I feel like flying. So I know it's a really random dream, but so I did all this stuff, and it felt like I was. It took about like legit like 25 minutes of doing all this sequence of stuff. But then all of a sudden, I get ripped out of this lucid dream and I'm back in my bed and I'm hearing the beeping sound on my headphones. Well, what happened was I never ended up taking the headphones off. I thought I did, but I ended up transitioning as I'm trying to take the headphones off, falling asleep and going into a lucid dream. But then I was curious because I was like, I felt like I dreamt for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So I sat there and counted while I was awake in the waking world, counted the silence between each beeps of the headphones for the low battery, and it was I only got to like 25 seconds of each beep, and that was like the first time I realized like you experience time so differently. And what does that mean? Like why and how and why we experience time so differently between the two of being awake in the physical realm and in the dream realm. Because like I said, like in real time, that dream was only 20-25 seconds. But in my mind, I spent 25 minutes doing random stuff. So that what makes me lean towards it's a different realm or something. But I just and I think there's needs to be more study on it of or more open study of figuring out what the dream realm is. It's just it's like bizarro world, you know, like how can we spend in the physical realm 25 seconds asleep but dreaming? It feels like 25 minutes. And there's people that I've never experienced it, but you know, they say they've felt like a normal dream cycles lasted a few days. Some people I've even read where some people said they've lived a whole lifetime from child to death to an old person, but it was only a like an hour dream, but it felt like 80 years. And I don't know what that is, but it to me it makes me feel like it's something else. And real quick, is they also say you can experience your past lives or future lives in your dream, in the dream realm as well.
Yeah, I've wondered that too. Man, that'd be crazy to think that you turn around and in your dream you lived your whole life, and then you woke up and you're like, what in the world? Like, and that's wild. But you're right though. It does it. You know, the time frame of what you're doing and everything. You know, I know I've done it. I was like, well, I'm gonna give me 5 more minutes, and you hit snooze or whatever, and that 10 minute snooze, and you can have a half a day of event in that 10 minutes, and be all over the place and do all kinds of things. I know I have, and then all of a sudden, alarm go off, I pop back out. Like, what in the world? And then you hit snooze, and my eyes close, and I'd go right back in. I've done that a bunch of times, and it's like, you're right though. Time is different, and why is it different in the dream state? I don't have the answer anywhere either. Um, it's an interesting question though, for sure.
Yeah, I think
Lily's,
there needs to be more study with
yeah,
with dreaming, or more open study where the information is more available to people. Because I mean, there's a lot of times in the labs that there's a breakthrough or something they find out in any type of subject, and they one maybe can't um, release what they found, or it's being held back for some odd reason. So, like I said earlier, there's something there, and if everyone's doing it, and we spend this much time doing it, it's obviously insanely important to this experience that we're going through in the physical realm.
I agree. I agree. Um, Lily has a interesting said she is scrolling up on me here. But they're chatting. The chat's is great tonight. For what I understand, and in her sleep, she was camping in a tent in a friend's backyard, and she met an Aboriginal man in her dreams. She called him Uncle Joe, and I've heard about that, like with psychics and stuff like that. They have like a certain um protector spirit or whatever. That's not the right terminology, but um, that helps them, make sure that they're not messing with it, because like if they're making sure they're actually speaking to who they're supposed to be speaking to, or if demons are trying to mess with them, whatever. And I wonder if you know I could see uh, having a guardian entity in our dreams too. I don't think I've had that, but um, what do you think on that? Like having a guardian entity in your dreams where it was guiding you along, would that be something different?
I've I've experienced different entities. Now, I don't know if they were like a dream guardian, but I have heard of something called the dream police, which I've mentioned before on Troubled Minds. But and I feel like I've experienced them a few times, and I think those are entities that are kind of like guardians of the dream realm. And when they find someone who's become lucid and conscious, they are asking too many questions, if you will, that they show up and kind of take care of the situation, if that makes sense. And
Mm-hmm.
uh I've experienced it where, like, I went to visit a passed on loved one, and I remember all of a sudden I turned around. There was a group of like elderly ladies, and they were all just screaming at me, but they were staying away from me. But they're like, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. Why are you bothering her?" And I remember calling my friend's name, and all of a sudden she like came out of this crowd of old ladies, and she was like, it's time to go, and you're not really supposed to be here. And then I was literally felt like someone ripped me out of that situation, and I found myself back sleeping. Now, can they can you have someone or an entity protect you from maybe those situations? I've actually heard of people having a dream guardian. Like there was one I heard where a guy felt like he wasn't ready to see certain things, and he would see like entities, but they would be like look like shadow people, or even like objects would be blacked out, and he felt like the person he was with was doing that on purpose because he wasn't consciously ready to experience that entity that was like like a shadow being or blacked out, or the objects. And then you said a certain event happened in his life like a few months later, and then he had the same dream and he was with the same person or entity, and then he experienced the same situation, and at that time everything he was able to see what the person was that previously was like a shadow person, and the objects like came into clarity. Yeah, so I do believe that's ability, but I think it is personalized for your own experience, if that makes sense. Like, because everyone's obviously at a different point in their life or in this experience, and I do think that there's guardians or things or beings there to help us along. And if we're not ready to experience a certain thing because we're not emotionally or spiritually ready at that moment, that it will shield it until we are ready. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I wonder. I always think about it as like we a lot of people have gifts, and abilities, some that they don't know really how to describe or anything like that. And I wonder, some of those actually gifts and stuff like that actually help. But um, seeing some of these, maybe guardian angels, or I believe, there's uh, we talked about last time some of the stuff that my uh, near stuff that has happened to me. There's for sure, um, to me, I had some guardian angels follow me around, and my mom says my guardian angels are tired because all the crazy stuff especially when I was younger, but I wore them
You
down.
had one quit on you, didn't you
uh,
say that?
yeah, yeah, she had to quit, and uh, that one thing I never did
You're like,
find though.
damn,
I
Ricky.
I remember having
You're
that.
like, damn, Ricky, you're too much.
Yeah, yeah. Next one here, y'all come on, bring the youth one. Y'all can bring another one. I remember the little uh, clip that went on the visor. It had on there that said, "Don't drive faster than your guardian angel can fly," and that thing flew, and I never seen it again. We went looking for it. We went through the woods looking. So I don't know. Maybe
He was
that was
gone.
it was yeah. That one was like, no, I'm done. I'm good. I'm good for sure. Um, one another aspect of dreaming, I do, I believe, I think this is possible. Um, is connecting with people, in their dream. Like, I've had a paranormal situation where I've had them come into my dream to talk to me. when I wouldn't let them talk to me, when I wasn't dreaming. Um, and then I've had people do it, actually come into my dreams, and and later on, like, in a way, because I even text the person, I'm like, please, for the love of God, stop coming to me in my dreams. I'm not, it was, it was one, to be honest, it was one of my exes, and they was sitting there in front of me, all boohoo and crying, and
Did she
I'm like,
acknowledge? Did
never
she
said nothing
acknowledge?
back, never said nothing back, never
Probably
replied.
freaked her
So
out.
probably so. I'm like, look, stop coming to me in my dreams. Leave me the hell alone. And then it showed that it was red, and that was it. And then, but it was like she came to me and was all like, hey, I'm miserable. I'm not this and that. I'm not happy. Blah blah blah. And I was like, look, you got what you wanted. Leave me alone. Leave me. And and then, like, the next day, I think we had one thing that we didn't have each other blocked, on, and I messaged her. I'm like, leave me the hell alone, please. I can't. You can't be messing with me. Don't mess with me in my sleep. I gotta get rest for work. Leave me alone. And then it stopped. It never happened. It didn't happen again. Um, and I've had it
What?
happen before it with others, but that was the last. Really, like, somebody really. Um, and maybe it was just, just maybe maybe I was crazy on it. I don't know.
Oh no, 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 no. And I'm glad you kind of brought this up, because what you're talking about is dream sharing, and there's a phenomenon where what you're talking about, like even passed on loved ones, or what's even crazier is like people that are still living that will show up or experience the same dream, show up in your dreams, or you show up in their dreams, vice versa,
Mhm.
or you guys share the same dream. Now, like I mentioned earlier, and this is one of my beliefs, theories, whatever you want to call it, is that to be able to dream, you have to get into REM sleep, and that's also known as you going into the delta brain wave state. And to get into that, your brain has to vibrate at a certain hertz. And you could look it up if you want right now. I think it's 0.01 hertz to 2.0 hertz. I could be off on that. But to my what I think is happening, and I've even mentioned this on Troubled Minds, that we know that everything has a vibration. Everything works on vibration. And that vibration turns into like sound and hertz. And if you can connect to, like, say, what I think every being, human or animal, even plant, has a certain vibration unique to them. So say like my certain vibration is like 1.157 blah 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 hertz, right?
Mhm.
And you want to like, and you, Ricky, like, you want to go experience or visit me in my dreams. You have to have the capability to change your vibration to my vibration, so we are matching vibration. And I think people can do that subconsciously. They have that ability, because I've talked to many people that have, and like just like yourself right now, it's just telling me you've experienced your ex in your dream, and other people have experienced the same dream, and they've come together and recorded, wrote down their dreams, and they're like identical. And like, how's that possible if you guys weren't experiencing the same thing? So I feel, like I was saying, if you're capable of changing your vibration and like to a certain vibration, like if I wanted to experience or visit you in your dream, there you would have to change your brainwave to match your brain, the other person's brainwave, and once that happens, you experience what they're experiencing. I know that can sound far fetched, but I really feel that's what's happening, and I do feel in the future they're going to have a technology that's going to be able, like, I don't know if it's going to be like a brain chip, or because they have sleep masks that you can wear to help you lucid dream with like infrared lighting. And we know that y- like if you dream fall asleep with the TV on, you can integrate what's on the TV, or like if you're listening to something, can integrate into your dream, because that like you're matching that vibration while you're sleeping, and it's manifesting. And I think that can go with experiencing other people's dreams, or even passed on loved ones. I don't know what you think about that. I know that's pretty wild, but I think that's what was happening, and we all have the capability to dream share. But I don't. I think we've even lost the ability to do so, or to remember how to do so at will.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it. Well, I told it on James's show one time on South Cedar Paranormal for everybody. You gotta check it out for great paranormal
Bow, bow, bow,
shows.
bow.
But it was me and my daughter was we both had the same dream of the same entity standing between us in my living room. And it was pretty wild. It was on my end, um, and it was standing right there, and I'm like, man, this is a dream. And I woke up, and then I was in a like a gray area, like everything was gray, and when I'm like, okay, but I was the whole time. It was the only time this ever happened in my life. It was everything. I was at the same place at the whole time. I never left. Everything looked the same, except for it was off. Um, and I'm like, man, this is a dream with the dude with the entity standing beside me. So I was like, all right, poof, and I popped up to another dream world of like everything was there and everything was calm, and I'm like, huh. I said, but it ain't right. But it kind of looked like it was gray, like the whole my lip, everything looked kind of grayish or something like that. And then I realized that I was still dreaming, and then I woke all the way up, and like the kitchen light was on, and I think the TV was on and stuff like that. And but she had the same dream. We talked about it later, and we had the same. She had the same dream, and she's had that happen twice, where her and her friend, like one of her friends, was like that, right beside each other, like in the same house, and they had the same dream, the same thing happen. Um, but on them on the hurts, like yeah, there's the I looked it up. It says the types of brain waves and their frequencies. The delta waves are zero point 0.5 to 4 hertz. Theta is 4 to 8 hertz, which is associated with light sleep and deep relaxation and creative thought. Alpha waves are 8 to 12. Um, Beta is 13 to 30, and gamma is over 30. So it's the fastest linked to high level cognitive functions like learning, problem solving, and information processing. Imagine that you're full awake then. But
Well,
but it,
actually, when you lucid dream, there you do get like a mixture of the delta and gamma, because you have your critical thinking. It might not last very long, but because that's like you said, that's where our actual critical thinking skills kick in. You have to be in that type of state of mind.
hmm,
And there's a big push in the ether now of like being the our brain states. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like consciousness, brain states, delta, theta is huge for like to get into meditation, to remote view. Um, they say psychics get into the theta they communicate with spirits or whatever they do. Um, I don't know if it's real or not, but I mean that's what is said. And a lot of creativity comes in the theta state, and there's a big push for in the ether of talking about getting into the theta, which is, like I said, like where you can meditate and practice to get in that state, and a lot of crazy things can happen. You can induce like self hallucinations in that state as well, like all audible, physical, tactile, like all craziness. Like the theta brain state to me is the doorway opening to the realm of your dreams because it's uh, obviously the closest brain state to the delta, to where you need to be into fully immerse in the dream realm. Sorry that I went on that tangent.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Um, there's Dawn and the conspiracy queen was talking about that. Me turning around and having my ex pop up in my dream. She said it may not have been choosing to do that. As like the conspiracy queen says, like turning the dial on the radio. Like her soul was reaching out for in a vulnerable state. You know, and maybe so, and like it was, just that connection. Um,
Well, it could have been her,
yeah, I mean,
subconsciously wanting to reach out to you, and she connected to you, and you weren't the one that you know was wanting to connect to her. But again, it could have been your subconscious trying to resolve something with her as well. And you not consciously reaching out, but your subconscious. But you got to realize in the dream realm, as of we know right now, what's in charge is our subconscious. Even if you can gain lucidity, our subconscious still is boss. Like it'll still do things that you don't want or you're not thinking, it'll still do it. Um, hopefully that makes sense. And I'm not saying like you were wanting anything to do with your ex, but there could have been a unresolved issue, or that day you might have thought of her, and like a fleeting thought, and but the possibility to dream share like you and your daughter did with that entity, to me is a very real thing. There's too many, even though it's anecdotal evidence, there's too much of it still
mhm.
out there for it not to be something.
Oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, maybe so. I mean, it was just one of them weird times, um, and and maybe so it was me trying to resolve something, or maybe she did turn around and reach out, just subconsciously, not really trying to get a hold of me, but subconsciously got a hold of me, and um, uh, you
Well,
know,
that's where like I've talked about your intentions, you know? Like she could have had the intention of seeing you or needing to say something to you. And somehow, like I think you said it was the conspiracy queen said, it's like changing the dial on a radio. And that's to me, that's the best way to describe how you can change your frequency, is literally flipping through channels or the dial on a radio or whatever. And because I mean, that's in my mind's eye, I see it, that's how it is, because everyone has their own unique vibration or frequency. And but the question comes out to be is, how do we turn that knob? How are we capable of turning that knob at will. And I would love to know, because I mean, can you imagine like messing with people too with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go say hi to such and such. I'm gonna go f with them tonight. Yeah, be and one. I wonder, is it possible? Is one of them things? Can you is other things? Can you train it? Do you train yourself to be able to do some of this stuff better? I wonder. Uh,
I think a big part of it is the pineal gland, right? Like it's a receiver and a sender. And from conspiracy theory of like having fluoride in the water and the food that we eat and the chemicals I put in our food, some of it is to calcify our pineal gland. And it is said that microscopically in our pineal gland, there are these geometrically shaped crystals that vibrate in our pineal gland. And if it gets calcified, I mean, think about it. Like those crystals won't have the room to vibrate at the frequency it needs to, so you can pick it up. Like it's an antenna that goes both ways. And if it's clogged, like anything that gets clogged, a hose, you won't flow right. And if it's all calcified and all gunked up, you won't be able to change the channel, if you will. And now on calcifying it, there's supposed to be ways, which I'm starting to research, certain vitamins you can take to uncalcify, and eating better, which is super hard for anyone, especially, I mean, you go to the grocery store, and even the one ingredient foods like the vegetables have a bunch of pesticides and crazy crap that's sprayed on them, so you're not getting that pure food. And so it's hard to eat right even if you think you are. And the intention is a big thing in it too. A few years ago, openly talking about lucid dreaming, spirits, entities, dream sharing, people would call you, weird or crazy, but now it's more acceptable. So there's a change coming, and it is happening. I wish it would happen faster with the food and the ideology of it as well. So, but yeah. So, you got any questions? Or I know there's a few in the chat, but I mean, if you have any questions at all.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, I absolutely agree on the food and some of it. It's well, within 2 years we're going to get better at this, and and it's supposedly getting better, but um, and it is hard. Like even if you trying to eat a proper deal, it's one, it's expensive, but another it's but it's for sure. I think they intentionally block some of this. Some of these gifts and stuff like that. They're using calcifying parent gland to stop people from being able to use they say, well, you're only using 10% of your brain. Well, we're using all our brain, but but there's extra stuff with our body that we're not able to connect with. And um
Well, it's like a computer, right? Like if you have your computer at home, your computer is running, but like say if you go on a certain website and you start getting a bunch of malware, it gets slow, gets clogged up. It's still running, but it's occupied with this other crap that it's taken care of, and a lot of it's not necessary. So that's the way I think of our body. It's a biological computer. You got to clean it out and optimize it every once in a while, but man, it's hard. It's like you said, eating right is expensive, which is crazy,
Mhm.
and staying out of the drama is a big one too, like on social media or even
Especially right
family.
now. Especially right now with everything that happened, and man,
Well, yeah, rest in peace, uh,
yeah,
Charlie. Like,
that's yeah, I agree. Just that, I mean, especially like right now with social media, it's just a war zone on social media. Where everybody fighting each other, and friends or 20-year friends are fighting each other, and blocking each other, and it's just like, man, why, it's just insane. I got on Facebook and I went straight like the marketplace, man. I was like, I ain't even, I scrolled for about 2 seconds, like, eh. And then Twitter, I really haven't been on it very much today. I can't, it's just so much crap, and uh,
yeah,
it
yeah,
just,
like with the Charlie thing, like on
yeah,
Facebook, like with them coming out with the bullets having inscription, like written trans stuff on it, and it's all over my feed now,
mm,
and like you can only absorb so much, and
mm,
it's I personally can maybe think of a handful of times I've seen the news when something was positive on it, uplifting throughout my life, and that's pathetic.
yeah, like, every once in a while I know around here they used to News Channel 3 used to have like the feel good shows or whatever, feel good uh you know segment. But other than that, and the rest of it was just like gloom and doom and bullshit, and then weather. It was, um,
Because that stuff sells, and as bad as it sounds,
yeah,
but still, like I personally don't want to hear about all the death or fighting. Like, and I think it's worse now because I was talking to my dad about this, because he grew up in he was born in '54, and he grew up through the '60s and '70s, and he was in the Navy at the tail end of Vietnam. And I asked him, like, is there more evil now in the world than when you were growing up? And his honest answer was no, I think it's the same, but you hear about it more because
mhm,
of the instant connection we have with
right,
everyone. There's more of it. He's like, for example, like, because he grew up in Billings, Montana, and all the news he would hear would be the news around Billings. If there was a car accident or something good happened, or even like something crazy they might have heard news from like the town over or like the capital Helena. Like a someone's plane crashed or there was a murder or something. But he's like, you want to hear news from across the country, and you would never ever hear the news like in a different country, like the Middle East, unless you looked for it. And now today you wake up and it's all over your phone without you even trying to go for it. So the connection is, I don't think we know how to handle that. I think that's a big problem. Like,
mhm,
everyone's developing ADHD. Like, oh, this happened, oh, this happened.
yeah, and it's, and it's the social media is amazing. Like it's done a lot of great things, I think, and like it's brought a lot of people, like, you and me would never met without, like Discord and this stuff like this, but and on the other side, with social media, with Facebook and everything, it gives a voice to the ignorant. It gives a voice for people, that, and
People are
for a
warriors.
very small percentage of the people actually believe the same as this one person, but it's because they're on there, and they could, you could see it, it's, um, and like Joey Myers said on there, a lot of it, and also there's a lot of bots on there. I know we've shown on my show here on Wednesday nights, I've shown the uh, rooms of, bot rooms where it actually shows all the, that's so you're arguing with. There's all these computers right here, and a lot of them they're arguing with people, trying to get people riled up. There's people with evil intent, and we need to stay together, and watch out for each other's friend, holler at them, check on them. But like you said, there's only so much we can take. There's only so much impact of negativity that we can pull in, and it's like on our show, like Wednesday night, I always try to, at the end, we talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. At the end, I always show like animal videos and feel good videos of,
Cat
kids or
video.
something, just to balance it out. Like, it's just because you can only intake so much negativity with it. You need some positivity brought it back in, and that's always been my goal when I do that. Is we got to have that balance, and if you take it so much, just turn it off, go to the, whatever you can do. If you're able
Meditate.
to, go to the park, go outside, listen to some music, whatever, do something other than disconnect. And I remember years ago, my dad was watching the news, and he was getting madder, man. I thought he was about to have a stroke or a heart attack right in front of me. He was getting that mad. And I finally looked at it, and I got, I, so I just, stuff comes out of my mouth, and I was blunt with it. And I was like, Dad, turn that shit the fuck off. And then he was like, look, I was like, turn it off. And he cut it out, and I'm like, turn on something. And he turned it on a comedy movie, and he calmed down and everything. I'm like, man, I was like, man, I thought he was, he was getting so mad. I thought something was about to happen to him. I was like, Dad, it
Like
might have.
getting mad over someone you don't even know.
Yeah, and just just because of people they're paid to spit hatred and to get people riled up, and they want, the powers that be want everybody divided. We can't, when people come together, they get scared and they don't want nobody together, so they have to divide us whatever they can. So, but yeah, I remember I was like, my dad, I think he put it on Police Academy or something like that. I just watched the old comedy movie, and he calmed down, and I'm like, now, like, turn that shit off, Dad, for the love of God. I don't want you to fall over in front of me because these stupid idiots that, it's not going to make a difference, yelling at this TV, it's, we have to be careful with, what we're inputting in our mind, and like doom scrolling on Twitter and stuff like that, man. You can, there's some terrible, and TikTok too. There's a lot of terrible stuff on there, like, because they'll be showing stuff from over, Middle East and stuff, and babies blown apart and all kind of stuff. And they show that on Twitter. It's
No
like, man,
way.
like, yeah, they do. They really do.
I'm not on TikTok. Weird little story is since I'm around my dad a lot, and he still works at Raytheon, and he's got top secret clearance. None of his family, if you want to be around him, can either have their phone. Like, if you have TikTok on your phone, you can't have your phone around my dad or his house. Or me, I just don't have TikTok because he's not allowed to be around it. Because it's known that TikTok, in your agreements that you agree to, it says in there that you, when agreeing to use TikTok, you give the permission to the owners of TikTok to wirelessly download a version of TikTok to your other devices that are connected to your device, and to download all the data on those devices and send it back to their server for them to own. You actually agree to that. And since my dad works where he works and has the clearance he has, they
no
said
go.
no go, just in case, because some guys, not him, but there are some guys that actually can take like top secret material back to their own personal house, but their house was outfitted to be able to handle and take care of that material. And if you have something that can download wirelessly and download your data and then send it to a server that somewhere else, different country, China, they that's how they steal secrets. And so, yeah, I've told a few people that, and they're like, "You're lying." I'm like, "Dude, look it up." Like,
Mm-hmm. It's if you look at the
Raytheon made
fine
an
print.
announcement.
Yeah, if you look at a lot of the fine print on a lot of the stuff, like you've even on Facebook and TikTok, and like you really look at what they have access to, and um, and they and the app won't work unless you give them access to every damn thing you got on your phone. They want access to everything, and it's um,
Yeah, there was
and then
the
you
South
search
Park made it.
something, yeah, then you search something on your freaking phone about, you're looking up ceiling fans, and all of a sudden there's ads for ceiling fans on Facebook, and it's like,
I've had it
this
where I
slow down
mention
bastard.
something and I get ads, not even looking it up on my
I've heard
phone.
that too. Yeah, I've seen that too. You're just having a conversation beside somebody, and then all of a sudden you start doom scrolling through your phone, and all of a sudden, hey, there's there's ads for what we just talked about. Hey, look at that.
Yeah,
That's a
it happened to
quinkadink.
me. Yeah, it happened a few months ago. My dad was picked me up. We went to go shopping to get some food and stuff, like for me, for the week. And he started talking about his trip to Harbor Freight, and we spent like 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes talking about Harbor Freight and the stuff they have. I don't know if you've heard of Harbor Freight,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh,
you
I
have,
spent too
or
much money. Uh,
okay,
there's one right here in
yeah,
town. It's like it used to be 2 blocks from my house, and I'm like, I need this tool. I can't find the tool I need, so I would just ride over there and buy another one, and then of course I'd find what I was looking for later on. Um,
yeah. And they're like, oh, this looks nice. I need that, and then
yeah,
suddenly you're spending
yeah.
$100.
Oh yeah, that'd
But
be cool to have.
but
I might need that one day.
yeah, and a couple hours after that trip I made with my dad and us talking about Harbor Freight, I started getting YouTube ads about Harbor Freight, which I never had any YouTube ads about Harbor Freight. But all of a sudden, they started popping up. I'm like,
Hmm.
that's creepy.
It
Like
is. I pay for
like
YouTube Premium, so I
super
don't have to
creepy.
worry about YouTube ads. But that is pretty. That is crazy um how that is. And in the chat's rock and rolling tonight again. And I'm glad, Mr. Duffy, you got out in the woods today and the in craziness for a moment at least. Uh, it was nice. I seen Brewer. He was talking about it. He was down in Africa, and, and he said he was down in Africa where he had no phone. He didn't have nothing. He was there in just nature, and he came back, and everything's all kinds of crazy and stuff. And
It's like a culture shock, I bet.
yeah, yeah. Like if you disconnect for a little while, and then all of a sudden, you come back, and I've had that happen where, like, I'm out in the country where I'm out of service, and then finally I find service, and the freaking phone just explodes uh with text messages, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, what the hell? But yeah, it's good to get out, and it's good to get away. Get whatever you can do to disconnect you from this insanity, at least for a moment. You can't keep absorbing this much negativity and not go crazy or do something that you regret.
Unfortunately, I feel a lot of the insanity that's happening is being manufactured purposely. So
I agree. I think some of it is, and some of it is a even taking advantage of, they'll take advantage of a situation, even if and use it to politicize, and no matter what, and kind of get people riled up. um and and it is and you know something crazy big is about to happen. As much distractions we have right now, I don't know what's coming, but I have an ideas, but and I hope I'm wrong. But it's lots of. It looks like some chaos. Some sure enough chaos is coming. Just with the if you look into just everybody in the whole world is like, is it something in the water? Is it that spaceship thing flying through our is it is causing chaos in our world? Is like the moon causes mood swings and stuff on people, and the tides change. Is this damn rock flying through our solar system? Is it causing all this crazies? Because like you got Nepal overthrowing their government, you got Poland stepping out of the EU, you got France trying to they want a new leader. They're rioting. Like all these nations are going ape shit, and over in
And like
Europe,
us potentially going to war with Venezuela? Like what?
that's going on. I mean, everything. Israel's bombed 6 different countries in the last week. Like, what is in the water right now? Um, to cause all this like just insanity at one time. Like it's bombardment on all angles, and it's like I don't know. I don't know what's really going on. It's uh,
It's like to me, I think a frequency. We've come to a different frequency in the cosmos that we're not used to. That could enhance that type of behavior. Because I mean, we are always moving in the cosmos,
mhm.
and maybe we've come to a certain area that has a certain frequency. Now we're in that's crazy town. I don't know.
It seems that way. Maybe. I mean, that's as good possibility as any. Because it's got to be something. I mean, I know it's some of it is it could be powers that be or funding these upheavals, and we know it's happened a bunch of times through history. Um, you can go through on my channel and watch a bunch of shows on different declassified projects and stuff of where they've gone through and done crazy stuff. But um, is it but all around the world at the same time? I don't know.
That's not a coincidence to me.
It's not. There's something's coming. Something's big coming. Um.
Well, you can, if you have enough money, you can hire people to protest for what you want.
Oh
Like there
yeah.
are people that make a living. They're like professional protesters and they get paid,
They
you
drive to
know,
city to city, and
yeah,
that's
they
all
get
they
flown
do.
out there and they get food, they get a stipend, and they get a paycheck on top of it. And
Cause I.
they're not even hating or disagreeing with what they're protesting because it's just a job. But
Mm,
yet people on the outside, or there are some that are, really there for what they believe in. I think it should be illegal. Like that's to me is it's a complete. I think it goes a little beyond just the freedom of. I guess falls under freedom of speech, but to me it just seems weird to pay someone to upheaval people or make. I don't know how to explain it. It just I don't think it's right.
well, they're doing it on all sides. They're paying the people to protest on whatever they want. Whoever agenda they want. The flavor of the week. If it's Ukraine this week or whatever the next. Um, and then it's got to be somebody funding it because you see. I'm sure it's Soros or one of them other assholes, but you see it all the time. Like they got they'll have flags and they got all kinds of stuff. And they're well laid out, and and like all these people protesting day in day out. Hell, they got to be doing. They got to be doing it for a job because not the hell they would be living on the streets. They won't have a job. If they're taking off this much work to go protest, they got to be doing it too for a living, or not they would be without. Um,
Yeah, they're protesting about inflation and not being able to pay for things, but you're taking off work to protest? What?
Yeah, yeah. The it
Like the
the
irony.
it is. It absolutely is. And then you got the bots on the other side on the social media. You got bots feeding and pouring in and saying all kinds of crazy stuff just to rile people up, and more people are seeing it, um, but there's still a lot of people don't, they glance at it and they're just reaction. They don't even look. When I sit or turn around and, see somebody say, you click on there and they got, you know, they they just recreated. They got, they follow four people and they got no, nothing they've ever posted ever. It's no as a bot and it's just bullshit. It's and a lot of it
You're
is,
fighting with it. It's crazy.
yeah, you're fighting with a computer. You're arguing, absolutely arguing with a computer, and like, I mean, you can if you want to, but you're not changing that computer's mind.
Because there's a
It's
program it's following.
yeah, that's it. It's catching certain words, what you say, and then it's going to feed back whatever is programmed to. Well, if they say this kind of terminology, you tell them this, and that's all it's doing. And um, yeah, conspiracy queen, crisis actors, you got them running around. When something happens, we've seen a bunch of them, especially the last 20 years, float the crisis, the crisis, the crisis. Like
I
it's
I actually heard a good point that I don't remember who it was. He was talking about crisis actors and how a lot of like a lot of the false flags that you can tell if they're real or not, especially because sometimes they'll show like a dead body or dead people. They pan it because, and he's like, it's fake if you see, or even someone that's heavily injured. They what I wouldn't say injured always happens, but when you die, it always happens. As gross as it sounds, is like you defecate on yourself because your muscles relax and whatever you have in
mhm.
your system. And he's like, I've never seen on like they show that stuff. You never see that stuff. Like that's how you know something fishy's happening. Because in real life, that's just what happens. Like that, you can't avoid that.
What
Like
what
it,
what was that? What was that actress that they were carrying her off in a body bag, and all of a sudden she opened that damn thing up and popped out? And man, what was her name? Maybe somebody in the chat could help me.
you talking about was it? Because I just was talking to someone about something like that just the other day, and I guess something like that happened with Ellen DeGeneres. I can't say her last name. That I'm
Hmm.
talking about Ellen.
Yeah,
Like she had a wife that supposedly crashed into a tree and was like burnt real bad or died, and then she sat up
yeah,
on like the gurney, and then
yeah,
they pushed her back down,
yeah,
and then like rushed her. Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
yeah. The chat, the sweets, and then conspiracy queen got it. Like I knew they the chat would have got us taken care of. Yeah, yeah. They're like, yeah, they pronounced her, yeah, she's dead, and all of a sudden she just sat straight up in that gurney, and on that out of that damn bag and freaking the hell out, and then shit, camera went off real quick, and um, of course, we never heard that she was still alive or not. It's uh, that plus the other crazy thing they got that's out there right now is all the masks and stuff they got. They can be anybody they want to be. Um, And so we don't really know between AI and mass. We don't even know uh, what we're seeing is damn real anymore. If we ever really,
Especially with COVID, with the mask mandate. I mean, that was a gold mine for nefarious activity. Like that was like a free pass to do whatever you desire because you could hide yourself real well. Like you were saying, like you don't know who it is.
yeah,
Like that was government giving a free pass to like do your darkest desires. Go ahead. Like it's just I don't know. It's
when they started mandating and stuff, I was lucky. I'm down here in Mississippi and stuff, and we were one of the last states. we're like Florida that really didn't push like the little town I was in. It didn't really push until like the last. We had to close our gym down, but a lot of the restaurants kind of stayed open. They really didn't mess with you. But and hell, I won't lie. We took the gym to my house. I had mats and stuff, and we just trained at my house and gave the middle finger to them and said, "Hell, y'all, we're still going to do what we're doing. We're not stopping just because of you know." I even got in trouble. I was telling Mike from Algorithm, and I was telling him a story about it. Like, I had my boss. He's seen one of the other employees seen me on Snapchat or Facebook or something that I had people at my house and my boss. He told him my boss coming in raising 10 kinds of hell to me and was like, "What the hell are you doing? Blah blah blah. What are you doing?" I'm like, and he was like, "Well, I really can't tell you, but he started going off at me again, and I was like, "Well, look, damn it!" I said, "These people have been." I said, "We fight each other and we're throw punches in each other's face and we're face to face and within we're not 6 feet away from each other to fucking fight." So I'm like, if something like that, if it's that damn bad, fucking if they got it, we got it. All of us have it. So, you know, so we're not bringing extra people in, but all the people that's been training together for all this time, hell, we're there, and he's, oh, okay, and I pushed back and I was like, "No, you ain't gonna tell me what I'm gonna do at my fucking house. Fuck you. You know, you gonna
Yeah, like he was a kid.
Yeah, yeah. And then I had the president of the company come down. He was all like, "Yeah, you need to talk about the vaccine, and when y'all have a little free time, y'all need to talk about it." And I'm like, "We do, but you don't want to hear what we say about it." And he got quiet and he left. And I was like,
Who is that? Your boss?
"The president of the company."
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. I'm I'm kind of blunt, especially get me pissed off. I'm really really blunt. But yeah, yeah. I'm just I'm gonna shoot it straight. I'm gonna think of however I think it. And um, I don't mix words with them. You know, they used to like it about me when I do that because I told them to. I helped them. Save a bunch of money and save some safety and all kind of stuff. But when I wouldn't bend to it, their every freaking wheel, they kind of got a little pissy with me. But I'm like, I was like, y'all praised this bluntness before, but it
When it
ain't an
doesn't
on
work in your
off.
favor, you don't want it.
Yeah, yeah. It don't get an on off switch. You're gonna get whatever I feel comes out of my head, and how I felt that moment at that time, and it was what it was, But I don't know. It's some wild times we're living in right now, and hopefully I hope for that 2020 bullshit. I hope we never see that shit again. But um, who knows with these crazy fuckers? The
Yeah, it's I don't know, but I hate to say it, but I'm gonna take off with this because I need to take some meds.
Oh, you're good,
But I'm
man.
really happy you had me on here. I hope it was a decent conversation. I know it was mainly me talking, but it happens.
Uh, well, I mean, that's good. I mean, no, I think it really was. I think, and it looks like truly the way the chat was going, everybody in the chat was really, vibing with what you're saying and absolutely agreeing what you had to say. Um, yeah, they're talking about right now. Great discussion. Uh, what conspiracy queen just said. Yeah, it's been great. The back of um, I'm glad we did it. I just kind of popped up and I was like, hey, no trouble minds, and then I was like, I got nothing better. Well, I got stuff to do, but I don't want to do it. I'll do it
Well,
later.
hopefully,
It'll keep. I gotta finish editing the video. That's it for tomorrow. But it shouldn't take. I just need to put uh, some little video, little segment things or whatever in between segments of my video. I want to put them in. That's it. So it shouldn't take me long on that. I got everything else already done. So I was like, hell, I got nothing else to do.
Well, hopefully you learned something.
Yeah,
You
I did,
know,
and I'm gonna try some of the stuff. I'm gonna try to write some of that stuff down, and I do want to try to do more. Maybe try to do a hear me sing again, like using my headphones, maybe sitting up. It's just my back sometimes. Laying on my back sometimes it ain't the best. I've kind of beat it up over the years of 30 years of martial arts. It's kind of been rough on it, but
yeah, I'm a shoulder sleeper. I sleep on my shoulders, like on my side,
yeah,
and
me
I have
too.
tore up shoulder like rotator cuffs from football and wrestling back in when I was younger. And I mean, I there's times I wake up and I'm like, this is gonna hurt moving, and it hurts. Like, but I just can't train myself to sleep like on my back or stomach. I can't do it. Like it's not comfortable,
Hmm.
and so I feel you. Like, but yeah, and my channel is under Lucid Dreaming with Blind Psychonaut. If you guys want some more tips and whatnot with lucid dreaming, um, so you can check that out. I have a couple videos that are going to be popping up soon. I just was dealing with medical issues a lot this past year, like 3 months out of the past 7 months. So kind of stalled on it, but I'm gonna start doing it more and doing more content. So watch out for that. And uh, again, Ricky, thanks. And anytime, if I'd love to come on and talk about random stuff too. It's
Perfect.
always fun, or wacky conspiracies. Like it's always fun to get the weirder you get. It's always fun. So again,
I
thanks, man.
see. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. I love the crazy stuff, and then being able to talk about some of the stuff that like you said earlier, like a lot of people they just look at you like, if they heard, several years ago they heard if we were talking about this, they were like, man, they're just crazy. They're out of their mind, and actually being able to talk about some of this stuff that it's hard to find people to talk about. And I'm glad we were able to do that. Um, put out a spot for people can, and Sweets dropped your link in the chat, so so you should have some new subscribers real soon. So appreciate you, Shane, and but yeah, we'll for sure do it again, hopefully soon.
Cool. All right. You have a good night, and please be safe,
Yes,
everyone.
yes, sir. You too. And I appreciate everybody being in the chat. Y'all been rock and rolling. Rumble is quiet tonight. I don't know what's going on with the Rumblers over there. They're just quiet. Uh, but that's okay. Oops, I have to knock my other keyboard off. Um, says there's 4 over there. Appreciate you 4 lurkers over there on Rumble. Appreciate you listening. Um, let me get ready to help Shane out here. Help the poor blind man out there. Um, yeah, I see. Like I said, y'all had some interesting conversations going on there. It was kind of like I didn't want to interrupt Shane going to kind of answer some of the stuff. We did go back to a lot of it, and pop in a lot of the stuff from the chat. So um, I'm glad we were able to. And like I said, I appreciate y'all. Hell, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Y'all are hanging out with me on this random Thursday. I just decided to pop up and do live. So I appreciate y'all for sure. Um, as always, y'all check out the links in the description, all that fun stuff, and um, the Trouble Minds Radio Network, and and the merch and my website. Yeah, Sweets dropped my link tree in there, so I got all kinds of stuff. So y'all can make sure y'all like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Trying to get to 500 and um, I forgot how many streaming hours. Um, Trying to get there so I can be like Dave's Waffle House and have people send me money and stuff. That'd be kind of cool. Y'all need to check out Dave's Waffle House too if y'all haven't. Y'all subscribe to my man there. He puts on a good show and has a lot of fun with it. Um, but uh, but as always, like I said, I'll ramble and rumble and everything the rest of the night. Thank y'all. Thank you, Tate. I appreciate you, Conspiracy Queen, Dawn, Lily, Sweets, Catastrophe. Oops, wrong mouse. Two computers. Um, Mr. Duffy was in here, right, raising, being Mr. Duffy for there. Um, I had a new person pop in. Where's the new person at? I don't see it. Oh, there's Joey Myers. Appreciate you popping in if you're still here, lurking in the background. Um, Algorithm, yeah. He's on, he don't share on YouTube, but he does. He actually live streams on Mondays on Rumble. So, Don lagging over there. That Canada, they're trying to get you. But much love to y'all. I appreciate y'all, and yeah, make sure y'all got the bell notification lit up so y'all never know when I'm gonna get a wild hair up my butt and decide to go live. I went yesterday for lunchtime. I did it tonight. Um, so I'm trying to do a few more and do more as we go. Um, Trying to get my 30 hours too. I got to get 30 hours on Rumble within a month. Using their studio for I can unlock some kind of crap. So trying to do that too. Trying to get where I can actually maybe make 5 cents off this. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It ain't about that. It ain't about making money. It's about connections and bringing truth and information and bringing people together so that we can talk. And like the late Charlie Kirk says, if we lose that communication where people have dialogue between different opinions, and we'll really lose society. And I agree with that. We had to have dialogue between different people. Like last week I brought in uh, I middle of the ground. I don't know what you call me. I really don't know. But I brought a Democrat politician on the show last week, and he come in and talk. Um, and I brought, much more right wing leaning people. Um, I want, different points of view, different ideas. Let's bring it to the table. Let's discuss. And, and, sometimes you got to agree to disagree. Uh, but much love again. I appreciate all y'all. Thank you again. I couldn't do this without y'all. So I'll see y'all. Hopefully see y'all soon. Take care.